Are you stuck with giving a prospect a really good, powerful reason why they should join your deal? If you are, this training is going to probably serve as a major breakthrough for you. So stick around, pay attention, take notes. Bottom line, being faithful gives you leverage to create that invitation that creates that eager desire in your prospect to want to join your opportunity if this is a good fit for them. And that's, a big if, because this obviously isn't quite for everybody. So being faithful. Faithful with what? The daily core activities. Absolutely. The vital behaviors, whatever you want to think of them as. The things, the disciplines that you've got to do every day to build this thing. Here's what it does for you. I'm going to show you some bullet points, and I will go into them in depth right here and now so that you understand and incentivizes you to do the daily core activities every day so that you can use this leverage to create a compelling reason why somebody should want to join your deal. So the first one, leverage the small sum of money to make a fortune. This is just something that right off the bat, before I even really get into this, you need to understand that this is, among other reasons, this is the most powerful thing that you can ever possibly be into to set yourself free, because nowhere else in business can you leverage such a small sum of money to make as much money as you want. There is no limit to the upside in that, but you're leveraging a very small, almost insignificant sum of money. Now, if you were to start a traditional business, it could cost you 6 figures. If you want to start a Microsoft big business, it would cost you 7 or 8 figures. Nobody has that kind of money. And banks are not going to give you a business loan to start a business like that because most of them fail. Banks will give you loans to buy a house because tenants pay for the rent. They'll give you a loan to buy a car, provided that your credit score is at least reasonable. But as far as a business investment, they will not give it to you. So something like a home business, network marketing, get in for almost all of them less than $500. Some of them a couple $100. Some of them less than that. And you can make as much money as you want, and you can even turn it passive. That is, you make an upfront investment of time for, I don't know, months, a couple years, and then you can eventually get it to a place where you can walk away from it and it pays you passively. And not only that, but your paychecks can actually go up even though you have no hand in it anymore whatsoever. It's a beautiful thing. In fact, if someone were to ask me, is this network marketing? I'd be like, yes, it is. I haven't found anywhere else where I can leverage such a small, seemingly insignificant amount of money to make a fortune and set myself free with. If you know of something else, please educate me. And of course, nobody can educate me or you or anybody in anything else that has that power because there is nothing else. This is it. We have the cat's meow here. Okay, so first, right out of the gate, I just wanted you to understand that. Leverage the small sum of money to make your fortune for whatever your goals are and why they're so important to you. So being faithful gives you leverage. Time and money. Those are the two big ones that most people use as, a reason not to do this. And for people that do get into this, they turn a perfect reason not to do this into a perfect reason or a perfect couple reasons to do this, time and money, and they both go hand in hand, absolutely. The more money that you make on a passive income basis, on a residual income, the more money you make that way, the more time you can buy back. And the more time you can spend on whatever is the most important to you. So that it's really important that you realize that. Leverage a small sum of money to make your fortune for whatever your reasons are and why they're important so that you get your time back. And the kind of residual passive income that you build here is going to give you your time back. So you get your freedom because you're driven by freedom. Not so much trading time for money and not so much entitlement, but you are driven by freedom. Otherwise, something like this would not have appealed to you if you weren't driven by your values for freedom, period. All right, now we're going to get into it. Being faithful gives you leverage. Your team does what you do, not what you say. So ask yourself this question. Are you doing on a daily basis what you would pray and hope for your team to be doing? If you don't have a team, pretend in your mind that you have one because you're going to get one. It's going to build. But if you have a team and maybe you're brand new, you don't have a team yet, so you're make-believing you have one, are they doing Are they spending their time every day doing the same thing that you're doing? And is that behavior going to make them any money? Is it going to make you any money? Is your team going to be profitable? You need to be doing what you want your team to do, because more often than not, they're going to do what you do, not what you say. Don't fall into the trap of management mode. Let's say you do have a team, and you're going to be one of those that says, "Oh, I've got enough people now. I'm gonna start managing these guys here and tell them what to do, and act more like a boss than a partner." Don't do that. The best way you can light your team up is to actually be doing the daily core activities and continuously enrolling people on a regular basis yourself. You do that, they're going to see it, and they're going to be much more inspired, not motivated, but inspired to do what you do. And this should also be said, you're going to enroll people, probably quite a few, that are not going to be inspired no matter what you do, and there's nothing you can do for them. They're either going to turn on when they're ready in their own time, or they're not, and they'll quit. So you need to be, just so you know, it's just one of those things, and there's nothing you can do about it. So you do what you want your team to do, and the ones who are receptive of that and willing to do what it takes to build this thing, they're going to do what you do, not what you say. And that is so incredibly important. All right, being faithful with the daily core of activities gives you leverage, a more attractive invitation. It gives you leverage to make a more attractive invitation when you're inviting people. So when you're inviting somebody and you're going nowhere because you aren't doing the daily core of activities, no one's going to follow you, because everyone already knows how to go nowhere. They don't need help with that. They know how to go nowhere. So by doing the daily core of activities, you can actually say to somebody, I've got this awesome team. We are enrolling between 5 and 10, 20 and 30, 80 and 100 people. I mean, whatever the number is, depending on how long you've been doing this and how faithful you've been with the daily core of activities. Let's say you've been faithful with the core activities for a month or two. You might be able to say, my team brings in 5 to 10 people. If it's been a year, you might be able to say my team brings in anywhere between 60 and 70 people on a monthly basis. If you can, if now is the right time for you, if you'd like to get in now, we're expected to bring in another 20, 25 people or so in the next 30 days. You can come in now before any of them do and earn from them for life. Would you like that spot, or should I hand that to somebody else who's ready right now? So I'm hoping that that one invitation example right there that I just gave you unlocks the floodgates and really gets your mind thinking. I mean, just creatively but truthfully come up with stuff that's leveraging the truth. Don't just make stuff up to manipulate people. That I will never ever teach you that. But if you're doing if you're faithfully doing the daily core of activities, you are going to build a business. You're going to be enrolling people. Once in a while, you'll enroll somebody who is also going to enroll people and build a team. You can leverage that in so many different ways when you make invitations to people. You can say, I'm running hard with this thing. I thought of you. I thought you might like to do this. Do you keep your options open in terms of joining a team that's actually building and adding a couple dozen people every week or every month? Let me know if you're in. Great. If you don't want to talk more about it because you're not interested, no big deal. That sort of thing. And you got that awesome posture. And if you're brand new and you don't have that kind of activity happening yet, you got to tell people, look, I'm gonna build this with or without you. I'd love to do it with you. So let me know if you'd like to talk. If not, no big deal. So your invitation is to do it with people, and you've got that posture that it's no big deal if they don't want to do it with you. Versus what most people do. I'm so excited. The compensation plan is awesome. Would you please look at this? Do me a favor. You owe me one. Pretty please. This is so exciting. That sort of thing. All the buzzwords. You've heard them before from other people, and you didn't get in on their deal, probably for the same reason that you shouldn't speak that language to other people. So whether you've already been doing this a month or a couple months or a year, and you've got stuff happening actually already, so that you can leverage that, or if you're brand new and you're going to get faithful, like starting today, you're drawing a line in the sand. Maybe you've been doing this for a while, so you're going to draw a line in the sand because you haven't been faithful, but now you're going to be faithful, so you're drawing that line in the sand. It doesn't matter. There is a way to leverage whatever point that you're at right now. There is a way to leverage it to make an extremely compelling invitation why somebody should be in your business. There just is. And you need to start thinking in terms of that, of creating that leverage. And it's being faithful with the daily core of activities that gives you that leverage. Otherwise, the best you're going to have to say to somebody is, because it's good for you. And who's going to be inspired by that? Nobody. Nobody's going to be inspired by that. They want to know that you're going places, that your team is going places, that you're backed up by, an awesome mentorship program, a system, something like that. Something that bottom line, they know that it works. Other people have done it, and they have to believe, your prospects, they have to believe that they can do this. And if they believe that they can do this and they're willing to do it, then they are so much more likely to get in. So you need to be doing the daily core of activities so that you can create those attractive invitations. Otherwise, it's going to be next to impossible to build this thing. So you might as well set yourself up from the get-go by being faithful with the daily core of activities so that you've got that kind of stuff happening. So this is a great one. Follow up with prospects with a real update, non-arbitrary. It goes along with that, well, because it's good for you. Or, let's say you're following up with somebody. It's been a few weeks, a month or whatever, and you're like, hey, just touching base with you, just seeing if now is a good time. I know before it wasn't. Just let me know if you're ready. Is now a good time? And there's no real reason to follow up, and you're just checking to see if now is a good time. That's, you may mean well. So I'm not putting you down when I say this, but that kind of a follow-up is really weak. It's arbitrary. It's weak. It's non-inspiring. If somebody gets in under that, then it's just luck, or you've done it so many times it was bound to happen, but it's not going to be enough to really build a profitable business. There has to be an update. If you're doing the daily core activities faithfully, you're always going to have an update. You'll be able to find something that's happening to update somebody with. If you're not doing the daily core activities, then you're probably not going to have any updates. And the only thing you got to fall back on if you want to follow up with anybody is just checking to see if you're ready, if now is a good time. If a light switch went off in your brain, no other reason, nothing's really happening here. Just see if that doesn't really work out too well. So an example of that could be like, hey, I've been working this thing in my spare time outside of my very busy life and my job and so on, and we just brought in this financial planner, super bright guy, and he is so excited to get started with this thing. I just wanted to let you know we brought that dude in, and I know now is not a right time for you, but I was just wondering, who do you know who is looking for a hand up to maybe solve some financial problems because of the economy or whatever? Who do you know who's like that I could talk to? So that's sort of a non-direct way, and if they refer you somebody, great. If they get curious themselves and say, hey, I might be interested, great. So go for it. And again, don't make anything up. If you didn't enroll a financial planner, or if your team didn't enroll a financial planner that's super bright and all these things, then don't say it. If your team enrolled a financial planner and you're saying that you enrolled that person personally, then that's not true. So be truthful here. And if you're doing the daily core of activities, you're going to have plenty of endless opportunities to be truthful and creating amazing invitations, whether you're initially inviting somebody into this for the first time, or you're following up with somebody who said no in the past or wasn't ready in the past, or whatever. You need to do that. Another great example of a way to follow up with somebody who just wasn't ready a few weeks ago or a few months ago or whatever is, hey, we just brought in this realtor, super bright, super excited to get started, and I know a few weeks ago it wasn't the right time for you yet, but since we're bringing in all this new activity and things are happening and people are getting paid pretty quickly, I wanted to reach back out to you and see if this is a better time for you. And if it's not, if you need to wait longer, totally cool, no big deal. Hey, just let me know, that sort of thing. Or more recently, right now, I enrolled somebody who is a high school dropout, teen runaway, former drug addict, former abuse victim turned abuse survivor, sick of her job, very bright lady, and hundreds of dollars she's already making within a couple of weeks. So I love using her example. I wouldn't have enrolled her if I wasn't faithfully doing the daily core of activities, and then I wouldn't have her amazing story to create really compelling invitations as well as some follow-ups with people, whether they said no in the past or they just weren't ready and they said, it looks interesting, but just not right now. I've got all this stuff going on. Regardless, I can follow up with people with that update. It's incredible, very incredible stuff. Also, what this does is it ignites your team, at least the ones that are receptive to it. So let's say you've got a few people in your organization who just, they got into this, but they haven't really done anything. It's been an incubation period so far, and you're wondering, how do I light them up? Well, this is the best way. Just be faithful with the daily core activities, because you're going to enroll other people. And let's say you've got 10 people. Let's say you've got 10 people in, and then you can go to, between numbers 1 and 9, and you can show them. They can actually see it rather than just taking your word for it. You can show them this activity that's happening in their business center to get them curious, raise a lot of curiosity, show them some volume, show them a little bit of what they could be making if they were a little bit more active and made the first rank advancement to qualify to start earning from the volume that all those other people are producing. I mean, if you just communicate with those people that got in first, or the people that got in anywhere but the last person that got in, because the last person to date that got in obviously doesn't have anyone under that person, but it's only a matter of time until that person does have somebody under them, because you're being faithful with the daily core activities. But point being, you can always go back to try to ignite your team with just showing them, I mean, really physically showing them that there's activity happening there, there's volume going right through their business center that they could be earning money off of for life if they got active and did a couple things. And from my experiences, most people, they still aren't going to be turned on, which really blows my mind for a loop, but it is what it is. But there's always that one or two that's like, wow, and then they get to work. So it's a great way to ignite your team. And again, if you're not faithful with the daily core activities, then you don't get that opportunity to do that, because you're probably not going to be bringing anybody in, and your team typically does what you do, so they're not bringing anybody in. Then you've really got nothing to ignite your team with except an email or a phone call, a really weak one that sounds something like, hey, I know you got into this because you said you wanted to do this and this. Well, let's get going because it's good for you. Think about it. If you could show them activity that's happening, do you think that's going to light them up a little more? It's like, wow, you've already got volume going through your business center. You could be earning from this if you just do a few things here and then show them what to do. So awesome, guys. Be faithful with the daily core of activities. If you're not, you're missing endless. What I've covered here is really not even the tip of the iceberg. And if you really absorb what I showed you here, then the dopamine levels in your brain should be just going off like crazy, because there's so much room for creativity without manipulating and without lying and without making stuff up, but just leveraging the truth. There's so many different combinations to use the truth about what's going to be happening in your business center if you're faithfully doing the daily core of activities. And let's say, if you're a new person and you don't have these numbers happening yet, I already told you some things you could do, but another thing you want to consider, at the absolute very least, no matter what, if you're doing the daily core of activities every day, you've got a ton of people to talk to. You can't wait on somebody to make up their mind. I mean, get back to me when you're ready on your own time. I'm ready for you, sure. But in the meantime, you got to prioritize your time and talk to a bunch of people, invite a bunch of people, which is going to create appointments and all this other activity. So let's say you're talking to somebody who didn't watch a video at the agreed upon time. You get on the phone and, hey, this is so-and-so. Just calling to see if you watched the video that you agreed to watch by this particular day and time. What'd you like most about what you saw? Oh, you didn't see it yet. Well, just so you know, I've got to prioritize my time. I've got 3 people that did watch it. I hope it's cool, but I'll catch back up with you in the next couple of weeks or something. Or let's say you don't have anybody that watched it yet because this is like maybe day 1 for you, but you've got all these activities to do. You could say, hey, oh, you didn't? Okay, well, hey, no problem. Tell you what, I've got a bunch of people on my list that I've got to get back to. I've got to prioritize my time. So I'll tell you what, I hope it's cool, but I'll catch back up with you in the next couple weeks or so. So at the very least, you can say something like that. Even if you don't have people watching a video yet, because it might literally be your first day or whatever, and there's really nothing happening except you just got to get busy with the daily core of activities, leverage that then. That creates powerful leverage so that people realize that you're going places, man. And it's a lot better to say to somebody who hasn't done what they said they were going to do, like watching a video by a certain time, who just blew it off for whatever reason. It's so much more powerful to leverage the fact that you're using the daily core of activities and doing them than to say something like, "What? You promised you'd watch it right now, man. Why didn't you watch it? This is your future." And even if you're dead right, that ain't inspiring anybody. In fact, it's just going to create more resistance, and you know it. You know it absolutely. So be faithful with the daily core of activities. If you're not, you're going to rob yourself of all kinds of leverage that you can use to build your business. And in this kind of a business, it's all about leverage. And there is more leverage in a network marketing business than any business model that's ever existed ever in the face of the earth. And that is a logistical fact. And what's great about that is leverage is purely a wealth concept. That's how you get more time because of leverage. It's how you get more money because of leverage. Time and money go hand in hand. That's how you get more freedom. It's because of leverage. And this business model has more leverage than any business model ever in the history of man. Logistical fact. So, a big part of that, the daily core of activities, you do them, endless points of leverage. You're going to think of stuff that I haven't even thought of. And the stuff that I've thought of, I haven't even covered that. I mean, this isn't even like the tip of the iceberg here in this little video, this little training video, and it's been going 21 minutes already. So there you have it. Be faithful with the daily core of activity. There's a million reasons why you need to be, but for the purpose of this particular training, it's going to give you endless leverage to create amazing, compelling invitations and follow-ups and posture within yourself, and it's going to give you credibility with your team. I believe that was another one that I put on here that hasn't quite shown up yet, and there it is, credibility. It's going to give you credibility with your team. You can say something like, "This is what I've been doing, the daily core of activities. Do these few things a day, master them with practice as you do them every day. This is what I've done. I made my first $250,000 or so for free on social media doing this. Follow me. It works. This is what I've been doing. Follow me." And I mean, that's a part of my story, but as you develop your story, you're going to be able to say the same type of thing with, different factual stuff. But you're going to be able to say to your team, "Look, this is what I've been doing. It works. These are my results. Follow me." It's a really cool thing. So on that note, that is all I've got for you with this training. Stay plugged in and turned on. Always be faithful with the daily core of activities. And if you decide you want to take a break at some point, let it be after your business is growing on its own momentum. I mean, well on its own momentum before you take a break. Otherwise, if you pull back even half throttle before that happens, you're not going to be starting or picking back up where you left off. You'll be starting at ground zero because any momentum you've had is going to crash and burn. That means all that time and effort and energy you poured into it will be totally wasted and will turn into a liability, what was once going to be an asset and potentially $1 million asset. So don't let $1 million asset turn into a huge, enormous liability. Do not take a break from doing the daily activities, the daily core activities, until your business center is growing on its own momentum, very, very comfortably on its own momentum. And then you've earned the right, you deserve the right at that point to take a week, a couple weeks, a month off and watch your paycheck grow, even though you had no involvement for that week or couple weeks or a month. It's a beautiful thing. It's your freedom. It's all about your why, your purpose, your vision, which is hopefully bigger than you and includes the benefit of a lot of other people, as it should. And that's it. I hope that there's been some major breakthroughs here, and that bottom line, you're just faithful with the daily core of activities, so that you're going to help a ton of people as you help yourself and turn your beautiful vision into a beautiful reality.